Do we think the playoffs are great, or do we need a new format? Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Poked Up Podcast. I am Chris, and joined with me this week is D. Hold on, which side are you on? You're on this side. Okay.
I don't know. I can't see your screen. You're over here for me, though. What?
Sorry. Sorry. It'll
Yeah,
it'll all work out
in post.
afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, in post. When I'm just
100%.
like, look at these two jackasses
Look at
pointing
these chuckle
multiple
fucks.
directions. These
Right?
chuckle fucks.
Accurate.
Holy shit. Anywho, we are officially done with round 2 of the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it's
Wow.
already been a wild playoffs.
Yeah,
But you know what else we are also coming up to? The inaugural PWHL finals.
we are. We are indeed.
I don't know
Crazy
if
how
you
that
got a
happened so
chance
quick.
to I know. I don't know if you got a chance to read the thing I sent you, the post from the PWHL.
Yes.
I don't know if you would like to go over that as well. A very nice
We
sentiment
can.
um from Jana
Hold on.
Hefford, who is the senior vice president of hockey operations for the PWHL.
Yes, I do have so many tabs open, but I do have hers open as well. Oh, that's all I wanted. All right. Good thing for history, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, well, first, let's start with the fact that we are in the PWHL finals, that the semifinals have concluded. The finals are between PWHL Boston and PWHL Minnesota, and the series is tied 1-1. So that is very exciting news. That you love to see that. You love to see two competitive teams
Oh yeah.
battling it out. So for sure, really nice. And then, as Chris was alluding to, Jana Hefford, who is the senior vice president of hockey operations, posted a letter that I will read now for you. As we
Yay!
approach the first ever story time.
Yay!
As we approach the first ever PWHL finals, I want to pause and reflect on our inaugural season. We set out to celebrate. No, that's not the word she used at all. We set out to create history. We can celebrate it too, Jana. Like, come on.
Hey!
Um, we set out to create history, and in many ways, we did. Starting with our opening game, January 1st, watched by 2.9 million viewers across Canada. In April, we set the women's hockey world record for attendance, 21,105 at Montreal's Bell Centre. We set out to inspire, and our players were also inspired and returned by our amazing fans. From the homemade signs at every game to the buzz in each of our arenas, where everyone is welcome, a PWHL game is a great place to be. We set out to create a league that would be different, innovative, and competitive. The first jailbreak shorthanded goal confirmed we could be different. PWHL Boston recorded a 3-point victory, another innovation, to gain a playoff spot in its final regular season game. By finishing atop the standings, PWHL Toronto earned the right to select its first round playoff opponent. We also implemented the Gold Plan, through which New York earned the first pick in the next draft. We are proud to chart our own path, and that includes our own physical style of play, which our players love as much as our fans do. We accomplished what many believed was impossible by launching a 6-team league in just a few months. For that, I thank the PWHL staff of wonderful people who care deeply about our sport and its future. I thank our players who perform at the highest levels and always make time to share moments with their fans. I thank our PWHL community, which is growing by the minute. Soon, one of our team captains will lift the Walter Cup for the first time ever. Triumphantly, she will honor the rich past of our sport and spark the dreams of champions in the years ahead. Jana Hefford, PWHL Senior Vice President of Hockey Operations. Which is a very nice letter from her as their season sort of draws to a close. I do think that what they did was actually really innovative. I mean, like she said, a 3-point victory, meaning 3 standing points.
Right.
because they altered how standings work in their league, and the idea of jailbreak, I think, also really cool,
Yeah.
and works in their particular style of play. And then obviously we've been championing their YouTube channel for a long time now to be able to watch the games. So the accessibility is really, really awesome. You know, we all have had that issue where we root for a team, but we don't live somewhere where we can actively view it because that's not our our center, right? Chris,
Are you
you're
just like
very well
yeah, I was
for
gonna
that.
say, I am the poster child of liking out of
Yeah,
market teams. I don't like
right.
any team in market. That's not true. Well,
Not
yes and
entirely
no,
true.
but again, I also live in a state where there is really no pro sports anymore. I'm
Yeah,
in between the two biggest sports like markets in the United States. So
right.
for me, it's tough. Like, I really
Yeah.
the only thing we have is the Connecticut Sun, and I've obviously am a Connecticut Sun fan. I've been to several games. I've been to the WNBA finals. Um, but yeah, it's difficult, and it
Yeah.
makes the PWHL makes it so easy
So easy.
because all their games are on YouTube. Also, they
Yeah.
have a contract with TSN in Canada. They have a lot of
Hmm.
games on national TV.
Yeah.
So, like,
Which
the
is great if
exposure is
you're somehow
insane.
a Minnesota fan, but living in frickin' Ottawa. I mean,
Yeah,
how that
you
would
know.
happen, I don't know, but like it could happen. We don't know.
Yeah, we
So
don't
yeah,
know
I
your
do really
life.
think that Jana, sorry, I don't know how to say it. I think that she captured a lot that was really good from the season. And I can't wait to see what she announces as their next step because they're not done. This
No.
message tells me that there's more growth coming and that they're excited to announce that after that Walter Cup is hoisted for its first ever time. I think they'll
Right,
take the appropriate amount of time to celebrate that and to allow the women to celebrate that. And they'll be like, all right, and next on the list. And they'll introduce
right.
something really cool, which I hope is my hope is that what we get announced next is a longer season. I think these women
I
deserve it.
and
And I
team
think that they
names
can excel. Yeah.
because these women kind of deserve their own identities on these teams. Like, and so
Yeah.
these teams should have their own names. Listen, as someone who's played the sport my whole life, I couldn't be prouder of these women and
Hmm.
everything that they've accomplished. It has been truly mind blowing and so amazing to watch. Just the
Yeah.
rise this season of the league itself, and
Yeah.
we've been talking about it for forever now on the podcast. Is the hockey world was ready for an elite level women's
Yes.
lacrosse or not women's lacrosse. Well, that's something we need
Hmm.
to. But women's hockey league, like this is, and the fans. The one thing we challenged all the fans to when this all started was to show up, and they showed out. Like
Yeah.
how many records were broken? How many sold out NHL arenas did they have?
Right.
Including just so you're aware, the second largest hockey arena on the fucking planet. They sold out.
Completely standing
That's
room only. Yeah.
nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just I I don't have words. Um
Hmm.
I do know that obviously when the time this releases tonight at 7 will be game 3. We can see how that
Yes.
series plays out. Do we have any other stats and
Yeah,
stuff that
I do. I have a bunch.
give it to me?
So first, I would like to say the PWHL's partnership with Barbie and the launch of the co-branded merchandise was featured in Ad Age that the newly established league had within months reached a deal with one of the hottest brands in popular culture. Is one chapter in a storybook first season for the PWHL. It's everything we hoped it could be and believed it could be. It's delivered wildly above our expectations. Our fans have just turned it out in droves. The partnership community has been so receptive to our product, our sport, and our players. Our social media has grown significantly, and our merchandise flies off the shelves. It's also been a brilliant inaugural season, I think, on every single front. So, just a reminder. I don't know why the Barbie deal wasn't included in this because that's fucking major.
Yeah,
So I
that's
wanted to
really
shout that out.
big.
Yeah, huge,
Surprise, bitch, we got Barbie.
right? Um, there are, much like the NHL, the PWHL does finalists or does awards at the end of the year as well. We talked last week about the Rookie of the Year. They have since come out with Coach of the Year, Forward of the Year, and Defender of the Year. So I'm just going to run through the nominees for those real quick. Starting with Defender of the Year, because why not? The finalists for that are Erin Ambrose, a defensive player out of Montreal. She was awarded or was a finalist for the award after accumulating 18 points, 4 goals, and 14 assists in 24 games, finishing the regular season as the second highest scorer among all defenders. Her 14 assists tied her for league lead among defenders and tied for third overall amongst all PWHL skaters. She finished with the second highest point total in Montreal while accumulating the most helpers on the team. Her impact extends beyond special teams, where she ranks second in power play points among defenders with 7. A standout moment in her season was her historic 4-assist performance against Minnesota on April 18th, marking the first and only time a PWHL player recorded 4 points in a single game. She averaged 26 minutes and 26 seconds per game and finished the regular season +5, the third highest mark on her team. Next up, we have Megan Keller out of PWHL Boston. She, on the offensive end, she ranked third among all PWHL defenders with 15 points, 4 goals, and 11 assists, finishing her second on her team in the category, just one behind the leader, Alina Mueller. Her playmaking abilities are highlighted by her 11 assists, the third most amongst defenders in the league, and tied for most on Boston. Keller's 4 goals placed her third among PWHL defenders. Defensively, she boasted the highest plus-minus ranking at the position, finishing the regular season at +9. Her significant ice time of 25 minutes and 22 seconds per game underscores her importance and reliability for her team, as she played in all 24 regular season games. And lastly, Ella Shelton of PWHL New York. She had 21 points with 7 goals, 14 assists, accumulated over 24 games. She finished the regular season as the top scoring defender in the PWHL and was second in points on her team. Her offensive output ranked 5th in overall league scoring, and her 7 goals ranked 1st at the position, 2 more than the next highest rank. Shelton famously made history on January 1st when she scored the PWHL's first ever goal in the season opener. Her 14 assists tied her for first among defenders, just one helper shy of the league high. The defender was key contributor to New York's power play unit that led the league with 19 goals on the advantage. She hit the score sheet on more than half of New York's power play markers, racking up 10 power play points and placing her at the top of the PWHL leaderboard in the category, alongside teammate Alex Carpenter. So those are our defensive players that are the finalists. We have our forward finalists, which are names we've mentioned a few times here as well. Alex Carpenter, a center out of New York, has earned her position following her stellar performance throughout the season. She finished the season tied for second in the PWHL with 23 points, 8 goals, and 15 assists in 24 games, spending the majority of the season in the top 2 in scoring. She demonstrated her exceptional playmaking skills by finishing the season tied for first in assists with 15. She had a 6-game point streak, tied for the longest streak in PWHL this season. Her contributions on the power play were significant as she co-led the league with 10 power play points. Carpenter showcased her prowess on the faceoff circle, achieving a 59% winning percentage while taking the 5th most draws in the league with 415 faceoffs.
Holy
She
shit.
had an average, I know, she's a fucking beast. She had an average of 20 minutes and 30 seconds on ice and finished 5th in the league with 89 shots on goal. That percentage is insane. Which we're just hold on to that though in a second. Marie-Philippe Poulin, a center out of Montreal, also nominated, finished the season tied for second in points with 23 points, 10 goals, 13 assists in just 21 games, boasting the second highest points per game average at 1.10. The 32-year-old led the PWHL with 4 3-point games and had multi-point efforts in 7 of her 21 games played. Her 10 goals ranked third in the league, and her 13 assists were the third most in the PWHL. She also had 2 game-winning goals and 5 power play points. She also excelled in the faceoff circle with a win percentage of 57.9 while taking the most draws in the league at 449. Additionally, Montreal's captain maintained the 6th highest plus-minus rating with +8 and an average time on ice of 21 minutes and 14 seconds. And lastly, for our forwards, we have our forwards of the year, we have Natalie Spooner, who led the league with 27 points, 20 goals, and 7 assists in 24 games, averaging 1.13 points per game and the highest mark in the PWHL. She led the league in goals scored with 29 more than the next highest total, and a league-high 6 multi-goal games on the season, including a 3-game span where she scored 7 goals. Spooner led the PWHL with 7 power play goals, more than double any other player, and had the most shots on goal with 101. She also finished first in the PWHL in game-winning goals with 5, insurance goals with 4, and first goals with 5. The 33-year-old recorded 9 multi-point games and tied the longest point streak of the season at 6 games. She also scored PWHL Toronto's first ever goal on January 5th and averaged 21 minutes and 46 seconds on ice. Again, just incredible stats from these players.
I just want to point out,
Yeah,
in a comparison to the NHL, only 5 players are above
yeah,
59% in the face-off circle. 5.
yeah,
That is fucking crazy.
right?
I'm sorry, 6 if you count John Tavares with
Oh,
59.3.
okay,
And what was hers? Just 59 flat?
just 59. Yeah,
Okay, so there are 6 players professionally in the United States, men, woman, other, that have a better face-off
better
percentage
record.
than her.
Yeah,
That is absurd.
that's elite. Yeah,
Like, holy shit.
yeah. And that's with her taking the second most amounts of face-offs too,
Which is nuts.
which is crazy. She's a producer, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
Lastly, they announced the Coach of the Year finalists. So, of course, there's only 6 teams, as we all know, but they did select 3 coaches. So, we're going to go through who those are really quickly. We have Corey Chevery. Sorry, Corey, I got your first name right. Head coach of PWHL Montreal. She guided Montreal to a 10-3-5-6 record. Remember the difference here being that they record points for overtime losses as well as overtime wins. So that's why they
Right.
have so many numbers in their record.
Yeah.
Finishing the season in second place, their 10 regulation wins were the second highest total in the league, along with a .569 win percentage and a +3 goal differential. She also coached the team to the third best power play percentage. Their second half surge on the advantage allowed them to finish the season with a 15.9 success rate, highlighted on April 18th, a game in which her team went 3 for 4 on the power play. Her team spent much of the season at or near the top of the standings despite losing several key players to long-term injured reserve. Another name that we are all super familiar with, Courtney Kessel, head coach of PWHL Boston. Kessel led Boston to an 8-4-3-9 record in the regular season, securing the 3rd seed heading into the playoffs. Before the international break in late March, her team was sitting in 5th place and on the outside looking at a playoff position. Upon returning from the break, Kessel guided her team to a 4-0-1-0 record, which included defeating first place Toronto to pass both Ottawa and Minnesota in the standings and clinch a playoff berth in their final game of the regular season. All 5 contests in the final stretch were 1-goal games, showcasing Kessel's ability to succeed in tight contests. And lastly, we have Troy Ryan, the head coach for Toronto. He coached. He coached. Wow, I can't read. He coached Toronto to a 13-4-0-7 record with a league high 47 points, and his team finished the season as the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs. The 13 regulation wins were the 3 more than any other team in the league, as the team finished 6 points ahead of second place Montreal. Of note, Toronto was the only team without a loss in extra time, going a perfect 4 for 4 in overtime and shootout situations. They finished with a goal differential of +19, a difference of +16 over the next best team, as the team scored the most goals, 69, nice, while allowing for the fewest, 50. Toronto finished the season first in penalty kill percentage with a 91.8% success rate. And I'm going to read that again. They had their penalty kill success rate was 91.8% successful.
That is fucking crazy.
That is like supernatural levels
That
of
is
ability.
bananas, dude. Oh my god.
91.8% success on the penalty kill, allowing just 6 power play goals in 24 games. After Toronto lost 5 of their first 7 games of the season, Ryan coached his team to a historic streak, winning a season-high 11 games in a row, skyrocketing the team to first place in the PWHL. I think it's pretty clear who is likely going to be the winner of the Coach of the Year award,
Yeah.
just based on stats alone. But
Listen,
we'll see.
let's
Who knows?
put some respect on Courtney Kessel's name. All
Oh,
right, that's
absolutely.
gold medalist.
Right.
Also,
Courtney
if
Kessel.
she wins
Yeah.
that, you best know brother-in-law Phil is going to be real happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shout out to the Kessel family.
Shout out to the Kessels.
I mean,
Um,
Blake
incredible.
coaching, Phil is still playing. Amanda
Yeah.
Kessel is front office for the fucking Penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and then obviously, Courtney's killing it too. At
Right.
34, that's impressive to already start off your coaching like that.
Yeah. And clearly, I mean, she knows how to guide her team back on track. So
Oh yeah.
that's a talent that not every coach has. So as we've
Oh
seen,
yeah.
we've talked about many weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then lastly, for the monologuing for me, we have the 3 stars of the week. So this is the week of May 12th through May 19th. As usual, starting with our 3rd star, we have Susanna Tapani, a center for PWHL Boston. Tapani is named the 3rd star of the week after scoring a goal in each of her 2 games played. First, in Game 3 of Boston's semifinal series against Montreal, Tapani was the hero, scoring the game-winning goal in overtime to complete the sweep for her team to advance to the finals. The goal was Tapani's second overtime winner of the series, as Boston won all 3 games in extra time. In Game 1 of the PWHL Finals against Minnesota, Tapani scored a momentum-shifting goal in the first period, tying the game 1-1 less than 3 minutes after her team fell behind early in the opening frame. The forward added 6 shots on the net last week while averaging north of 27 minutes per game, including a game high of 34 minutes and 6 seconds in Game 3 against Montreal. Tapani now sits first in game-winning goals in the PWHL playoffs with 2, and is tied for second in total goals scored with 3 throughout 4 games played. Crazy. 34
Yeah.
minutes of ice time. That's nuts.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Second
I
star,
also played the
Taylor
whole fucking
Heiss.
game.
Yeah, right. Taylor Heiss, center for PWHL Minnesota, is the 2nd star after leading the PWHL in scoring with 5 points, 4 goals, 1 assist, in 4 games played. In a winner-takes-all Game 5 against Toronto, Heiss scored twice, including the game-winning goal, and added an empty netter to seal a series victory for Minnesota. She followed up her Game 5 performance by recording 3 points against Boston in Game 1 of the PWHL Finals. The forward recorded 2 goals for the second consecutive game and added an assist, hitting the score sheet on each of her team's goals on the contest. With her scoring output against Boston, Heiss, along with line mate Michaela Cava, became the first PWHL players to record 3-point playoff game. The 24-year-old was a +4 for the week and wasn't on ice for a single goal against in Game 1 against Boston. She had a 55.1% face-off percentage, including winning 68.8% of her draws in Game 5 against Toronto, while averaging 20 minutes and 10 seconds per game. Heiss now leads the PWHL playoffs in both points with 5 and goals with 4. Insane.
That's nuts. Jesus Christ.
And lastly, we have our 1st star this week, who is Maddie Rooney, the goalie for PWHL Minnesota. Rooney is named the 1st star of the week after backstopping her team to 3 straight victories over Toronto in the PWHL playoffs, clinching a series win for Minnesota. With Minnesota down 2-0 in their best-of-5 series against Toronto, Rooney posted back-to-back shutouts at home in Games 3 and 4, including a double overtime shutout in Game 4, forcing a Game 5 in Toronto. In the series decided game, Rooney posted a .964 save percentage while allowing just 1 goal against as Minnesota clinched the series to punch their ticket to the PWHL finals. The goaltender started 4 games last week and played a league high of 263 minutes with a record of 3-1. Her save percentage was tops among goaltenders at .943%, as her goals against average at 1.14. She allowed just 5 goals in 4 games played while making a PWHL high 87 saves. Love to see a goalie in the top, for sure.
We're here for the goalies, man. And
Yeah, absolutely.
a .943 save percentage is ridiculous.
Yeah,
2
absolutely.
shutouts is also in the
Back to
playoffs.
back shutouts in the playoffs.
Ridiculous.
And one of those being a double overtime shutout.
Fucking crazy.
That's insane. Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
So yes, as a reminder, it is Boston versus Minnesota. Currently, Boston won the first game 4-3. Minnesota won the second game 3-0.
So you guys are gonna have to tune in tonight and watch.
yes,
I know I will
absolutely.
be, because
Hell
I'm
yeah.
very interested in this.
Yep. Yeah, Friday night, Friday, May 24th, game starts at 7 p.m. The final game, should it go to a game 5, will be Wednesday, May 29th. Yeah. But there's a chance the series could wrap up early. So again,
Yeah,
make sure you are following PWHL on all social medias and on YouTube so that you know when they go live for their games. Most of their games are either 6 or 7 o'clock at night, especially as they're in the finals. But this time next week, we could have a PWHL first ever Walter Cup champion.
we love to see it. Also,
Yeah,
I'm so jealous. That trophy's so beautiful.
I know. Isn't it gorgeous?
It's so
It's
nice.
so pretty.
I
It's
wouldn't trade
so
it for a
pretty.
Stanley Cup, but it's a very close second.
Honestly, I think if we're talking about like mini replicas to display, I think the Walter Cup is prettier to display
Oh, it would
than the
be
Stanley
very
Cup.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's nice.
damn.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that
Shout out
is
to
our
Tiffany for
PWHL wrap up.
shout out to Tiffany and Co for making a fucking
Gorgeous ass cup. Yeah, absolutely.
So, real quick, we want to touch on news that broke earlier today as of recording.
Mm,
That the Tampa Bay Lightning have gotten back an old face.
not that
In
old,
No, but for them, the
but
Nashville
he's still
Predators have
relatively
changed.
young.
Yeah, oh, he is. Yeah, old, but you know what I'm saying.
Old, I do know what you're
Um,
saying. I'm just fucking with you.
the Nashville Predators traded Ryan McDonough to the
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning for a 7th round pick in the 2024 draft and a
Mm-hmm.
2nd round pick in 2025. The Lightning will also receive the Edmonton Oilers 4th round pick in 2024. 32 points in 74 games for the Predators. Ryan McDonough
Mm-hmm.
returns home, where he spent the majority of his career and won 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
So super excited to see McDonough back with the Lightning. I think that's going to be good for him. But
Absolutely.
we were talking before. I didn't know that you could make trades during the playoffs.
Again, I think because they're both eliminated teams that they can just kind of, it's like, all right, your season's over. Do what you fucking want.
They just let them.
Have
I
at it.
feel like that
Yeah.
would have to be the only. Um,
Yeah, I think you have to be eliminated. I don't think you can make active trades while you're still battling for the cup because
I
that's
don't think
unfair.
so. Yeah. Well, I know the trade deadline passed and you can't make trades, so I assume that it's only for teams that don't have anything
Yeah.
to do. I don't.
Yeah.
How does that even happen? Are they both on the golf course? Be like, hey, it'd be real great to get McDonough back.
And they're like, you
I
make
think
this
we can
hole,
work
we'll make
something
it
out.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I birdie this next hole, you can have him.
Honestly, I do think that that's how a lot of things happen in sports. In
Let's.
all sports, it's just like stupid bets that they're like, you know what? This
It's like
random thing happens. That's a
it's
combination
like
of
that.
luck and skill.
Oh yeah,
And
it's like
yeah,
that
it's yours.
scene in Moneyball where they're
Yeah.
just Brad Pitt's on the phone. What about this guy? We like him. No, you don't. Nobody likes him. I don't even like him. I don't know why I'm asking you this.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
all right. I need this. What about this guy? No. This
Nah.
guy? Sure. Who do you want? That? No. How about Cat? Like that scene has
Yeah.
got to be the epitome of how it works in a front office.
Oh, 100%.
We like him. No, you don't.
Also, let me into that room just once. I promise I won't tell anybody what happens. I just
I
want to see it.
know.
I just
We
want to
just
see it.
want to
We're
see
no
what
fun.
happens.
Just tell me what happens.
And maybe we could be
Just want
the Jonah Hill, just advise. Like, no, this is a
to-
stupid move. Don't do. I want to be a GM's like fucking anger translator.
I would be a GM's worst nightmare because we're like, oh no, his face is too punchable for our fan base. Don't pick him up.
I don't
Don't
give
pick
him
him up.
the opportunity. No, that guy. Are you really?
That guy, are you
Really?
kidding me?
What
Have
the
you
fuck has he
seen
done? What has he done this year?
Well,
Nothing.
no, like,
The fuck?
even though I do know stuff about player stats, I 100% wouldn't be basing my opinions on that. I'd be basing it off of like their fashion choices and whether or
What is
not I like any animals they may
who
have.
who has
You know
those
what I mean?
fucking eyebrows? What are we doing?
Right.
What is this?
He was
Soviet
wearing
Russia?
lime
Like,
green jorts. Like, that's not
yeah.
appropriate attire anywhere.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy and his green jorts.
And his green jorts. 100%.
Who has a mustache like that? What kind of fucking asshole? Like,
Yeah. 100%. That would be what I'd be doing. Just because I
oh my
think that
god.
that's hilarious. I think that's so funny. Can
I'd
you
be like,
imagine if that's how trades were done? It's like, you know what? He once told me that his favorite TV show of all time was Teletubbies, and I just don't know if we can have that energy on our team.
that's you're asking a lot at that point.
They're asking a lot.
Anywho, um, we have new coach somewhere.
We do have a new coach. Can you
Well,
believe this quickly?
it's a new coach to the team. It's not a
To
new
the
coach to us.
organization? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he's new to them.
yes, the Maple Leafs were very quick
No,
in their replacement of Sheldon
he's
Keefe.
not. He he played there.
Well, new to the current players in this
Yeah,
organization. How about that?
he's a new coach to this. Yeah, he played
Yeah.
there for 40 games in 92. 91,
Does that even
92.
count? Really? That's like a half a season.
Still a half more season than I played with the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs. It's a half a season more than I'd want to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well, to be fair.
Facts.
It's cold up there.
Facts.
It's cold, y'all.
Yeah.
That's
They
too
love
much
their
for me.
team. Even.
Anyway, Craig Berube. I wonder what they call him. Like, what's his nickname, do you think?
BB?
BB?
What's up, BB?
Hey, BB?
BB?
Anyway, he has been hired as Toronto's new head coach. He says that his coaching style is to hold players accountable. If something needs to be said, he will not hesitate to say it and do it directly. He said, I think it starts in the summertime, getting to know the players and getting them to understand what I'm all about, how I'm going to coach, and how I'm going to coach each individual and the team. He said on Tuesday when introduced as the 32nd head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs after being hired on Friday. And then when you have to hold a player accountable for whatever ice time, whatever the situation is, they understand it more. Communication is huge. I think that's one of my strengths. I'm a great communicator with my players. They know where they stand. I'm going to tell them when they're playing well. I'm going to tell them when they're not playing well. I'm going to tell them when things need to be improved upon. The 58-year-old will be tasked with finding a way to get a perennially successful team during the regular season to have a similar level of success during the playoffs. Although the Maple Leafs have made the playoffs each season since the 2016-2017 season, success in the postseason has been elusive. Toronto has won one playoff round in that span, a first-round victory against the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2023. That's a depressing statistic. I don't mean to laugh, but that's fucking
No,
funny.
it's pretty depressing.
Yeah. Anyway, that opening round win last season marked the first time the Maple Leafs had advanced to the second round of playoffs since 2002, even. So,
Well,
yeah,
think of it this way. Craig Berube is the mastermind behind the most amazing season turnaround in NHL history when the St. Louis Blues went
yeah,
from last place in the league to Stanley Cup champions. That
correct.
was the coach.
Yeah. And he took over
mean,
in November of that year in
yeah,
2019. Well, I guess
yeah,
technically November in 2018, but whatever.
2018, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He is 281, 190, and 72 in 543 regular season games as the
yeah.
coach of the Philadelphia Flyers and St. Louis Blues combined. Those are the other two
He's
teams he has previously coached for.
only playoffs twice.
Yeah.
I don't count this season because they fired him 28 games in. He didn't miss shit this year.
No.
But yeah, Stanley
They
Cup
got off to a
champion.
terrible start. 13, 14, and 1
Yeah, it was not
was
good.
the Blues start.
Not good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy
So we'll see.
who played 1,000 games in his NHL career as well.
Yeah.
So listen, I think this is a good move. I like Craig Berube. I think he's a good coach. I'm very excited to see what happens in the offseason with Toronto.
Hmm.
Because
Oh, I
they
think
need to
we're
do
seeing some
something.
trades.
Even if it's fucking wrong, do something.
What I'm seeing now, and this is just, hockey Twitter gossip, is the name that's being floated about is Mitch Marner as being the first trade.
Oh, his contract's up next year.
Yeah.
He's got 1 year left in his deal, I think.
Doesn't mean they can't get rid of him.
Well, if he's gonna leave, and if
That's the
they
time
don't
to do
want to
it.
re-sign him, I think
Yeah.
they'd be stupid to trade Marner.
But I think they're going all in on
Personally,
Matthews.
yeah, but you can't just have one guy. Like Marner and Matthews work really well together.
I don't know. We know the core four is no more though. There's no way they're keeping all four of them.
Someone's
Someone's
gone.
going. And yeah,
I
again, this is hockey Twitter gossip, so who knows how true it is. But that someone
Hockey
people are
Twitter's
thinking,
talking about how Anaheim's trading Trevor Zegras to Montreal. So I don't
yeah,
know what I
grain
believe
of salt
there.
with anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Although apparently
So we'll
we're in the
see.
running for Martin Necas, which would be crazy.
Apparently so are we though.
Yeah, there's a it looks like Carolina might be getting rid of Martin Necas because
Which is
he's an
insane.
RFA.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be an RFA, so if you can trade him.
Dude, he's a talent to any team though. So
Oh, he's a
if he'll get picked
beast.
up like that, like
Well,
he's not gonna be
he was
on market
almost
long.
concussed if it weren't for fucking Jacob Trouba missing.
If it weren't for Nate just being like, oh fuck, duck.
Oh fuck,
Like,
and ducking. Like
yeah,
being aware of his surroundings.
100%.
Huh. Nature's
That's
is
a heads
great,
up
yeah,
play.
but he's kind of like a little concussed.
Well, it goes away.
Potato concussion.
100%.
I've had a bunch. You're fine. You get
You're
like
fine.
5 freebies.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a neurologist that hates that joke.
You get 5 freebies.
Yeah, he's like, no, you
You
fucking
get
don't.
0 freebies.
You don't get
One
any
concussion is
freebies,
bad for you.
jackass.
Yeah.
He goes, you should know. I'm like, yeah, I'm already fucked. I
Yeah.
know. It's fine. I lost count at 5. I have probably
Yeah.
had like 9 or 10. I don't know.
Well, I will
don't
say
remember.
in at least in lacrosse, I do know that if you hit a certain amount of concussions during your high school career, they make you stop playing. NFHS will be like, you're done. You cannot continue to play. You have to take like a certain amount of time off
Yeah,
after a certain amount of concussions because of people like you, Chris.
I wish that rule was implemented when I was in high school.
Yeah, no. But it is
Nah,
now.
bro.
Yeah.
How's Chris? Well, he drools a little bit, but he's
But only a
fine.
little.
Only a little.
Yeah. And just the one
Yeah.
side. So
Exactly.
easy to clean up.
You know, I don't just go like this every once in a while. Just
Yeah.
you okay? My brain's a little broken.
Yeah. Just a little bit
Anywho,
broken.
glossing over my pain. Uh, we do have an update of the playoff picture. We are now set for the conference finals.
How did we get here so quickly, Chris?
I know.
We
And
didn't
what
actually.
a fucking wild second round. Like
Yeah.
miles more entertaining than round 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Every game went to a game 6 or a game 7.
Yeah.
Or every
Well,
matchup, I mean.
yeah. 3 out of the 4 ended in 6 games. 1 ended in 7, which is insane.
Yeah.
Your Eastern Conference Finals will be the Florida Panthers against the New York Rangers. The Panthers beat the Bruins in 6 games, as well as the Rangers beat the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games. On the Western Conference side, the Western Conference Finals will be the Dallas Stars versus the Edmonton Oilers.
Crazy.
Dallas beat the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games, and the Edmonton Oilers came back and won the series against the Vancouver Canucks in 7. I do want to give a little bit of love to Zach Parise, who it sounds like after that Game 6 loss will be retiring. There was a really nice moment in the handshake line with one of the coaches of the Dallas Stars who coached Parise and his former longtime teammate Ryan Suter, who plays for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
I know
Shame
Dave's
Danger's not here.
here to
She'd love
talk
to talk
about how
about
much
it.
how much she just loves Parise and Suter.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice moment. I mean, both Ryan Suter and Zach Parise have had good careers.
Mhm.
So, sad he couldn't go out with a championship. But if this is it, you know, I
Yeah,
guess what other way to go out than in the playoffs?
I agree 100%. And a second round run too, like making it 6 games into the second round is not anything like laughable. You know what I mean? That's not a
Against the
first
team
round sweep
that's
unlike
very good.
some people.
Yeah.
So, I think that that's a great way to end your
You
season.
you wanna talk about it?
No. My
No?
therapist says I'm not allowed yet.
Yeah, yeah, your therapist might be pretty smart.
Yeah, probably.
Uh, um, do we have any predictions? Who do you think is your Stanley Cup final matchup?
That's so hard because, like, a lot of these teams that are left are teams that I just don't wanna fucking see win it, you know what I mean?
Well, you have no choice,
I
so
know, but that's the thing is that in the Eastern Conference, I don't like either of those teams because of my team's
that's
history with those teams, and I'm
those
sure
are
you
real
feel
fair.
similarly when certain matchups happen in the Western Conference as well.
I mean, Edmonton's
Um,
in my division, so they bitch
yeah,
slap us every year
but I mean, like, if you were to see
because
the Kings in the
coverage.
final, you'd be like, "Fuck them, I just can't." You can't root for them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I would have a hard time. I would have a
It
hard
would be
time.
tough. So I feel like, for me, the team that I'm most able to root for, even though I do not like it, is Florida.
Hmm.
I think that Florida has had a little bit of a harder road to get here, but not by much. Um,
I don't
New
know.
York
It
has,
only took them 5 games to get rid of the fucking Lightning. So
yeah. Um, so I don't know. That's a hard call for me between those two as to which one I think will do it because I think I'm just um again, my
too
therapist
biased.
said not to talk about it. So I think I'm too biased. So I'm going to
I
say
hope the
Florida.
fucking Rangers get swept.
That is what I want though. That is if someone is accepting prayers, let me be the first to offer that the Rangers get
Give me
swept
that one.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
the conference finals. And then I would have previously said Dallas. However, I think Edmonton is now going to be on an upswing. However is
Bitch,
not
did
a
you just
real
say
word. I
however?
I did. I just created something because it sounded fun at the time. Um, I think
I
that
just wanted to make sure I heard you.
yeah, your ears aren't broke. That CTE hasn't quite fully hit it just yet.
CT hasn't hit yet.
Um, I think that Edmonton is going to be. I mean, look, this is the farthest they've gotten in a while, right? Like,
No, they made
I
the
think
conference finals recently.
how recently? Not in the last
Uh,
5 years.
to the internet.
I don't think it's been within 5 years. Or if it did, I just laughed at them. So maybe that's it.
You know what? There's a good chance that that's what happened.
Yeah.
Ba-ba. Holy fucking! That's right. They've been around. No, they haven't made this conference finals since. You know who I'm thinking of? It's Montreal.
Yes. Yeah, they have.
Montreal made the Stanley Cup finals ago. The last time that they made the conference finals, dude, the fucking listing is crazy here. 2005?
So a
That's
while.
no, 2021.
No
They played
way.
Colorado.
In 2021?
They also made the conference finals last year.
No, they didn't. They for sure
First
didn't.
round. Oh no. No, but they did make it 2021, 2022. They lost the Avalanche. They got swept by the Avalanche.
So that would probably be why, because that
You
was
know what I'm
was
reading is
possible.
2023, 2024 conference finals versus Dallas Stars. I just
Yeah.
listen, I've worked a 12-hour shift today, guys. Cut me a little slack.
Yeah.
Last time they
I
won
was
a
gonna go to
conference
Wikipedia.
finals Last time they won a conference finals was 2005, 2006, and they beat
Yeah.
Anaheim, then Mighty Ducks.
So the last time that they were not an embarrassment in the conference finals was 2005, 2006 when they
When they
beat.
beat Anaheim
Yeah. Sorry,
to
I was reading
lose
it as you were
and
saying it.
yeah.
But
Then they
yeah,
ended up going on to lose in 7 games against the
the
Hurricanes,
Canes.
which
So
I don't
yeah,
know. Part of me is
I
still a Canes guy.
this is the first time that they've made the conference finals since 2021-22.
That's only 3 years.
Which
It's not.
that was also
It's 2, 3
the
years.
2021-2022 was also, to be clear, it was still a bubble situation. They were still playing COVID protocol.
Kind of, yeah. It was
So
still a shortened season.
it was a shortened season. And there was a limited audience, if I remember correctly, as well,
Yeah,
at all
I
games still at
also
that time.
remember that fucking still that shortened season. Connor McDavid had 100 points, so
Yeah.
he's a savage.
Yeah. But I think actually no, was that not did they go back to they might have gone back to 82 that year. I think they did.
No, 2021, 2022, I believe was still a shortened season.
I don't remember. Anyway, so yes, I guess they technically had been to the conference finals, but that was an embarrassment the last time they were there. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, because they played the fucking like her. Oh no, they did have a full season that year. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they played the Colorado Avalanche, who just were not going to be denied a Stanley Cup.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Um so we'll see how they do this round. I think that they're probably amped up because yeah, after that appearance they lost second round to the Golden Knights last year, who we all know what the Golden Knights went on to do last year. Um
Mhm.
so we'll see, but at the same time, Dallas has been um hunting for a Stanley Cup final for a little while now.
They haven't won a Stanley Cup since the '90s, since
Yeah.
'99.
So they're also due. So I think we'll see, or I should say, I hope that we see um, a full range of games. I hope that no one gets swept except for New York. Um, but I hope that I want to see hockey that is the best that both teams can be playing at,
Hmm.
and we've seen some of that. But I think like we did not see Carolina play the best hockey they're capable of playing. We did not see Boston playing the best hockey they're capable of playing.
So I think we did actually see the best hockey that Carolina's capable of playing, in the sense that
How so?
that series was a fucking dogfight. Like up until that last game, like there really was. It was kind of
Yeah,
anyone's series, but like New York only won a couple those like first 2 games off of some lucky like breaks, like
some puck
lucky
luck. Yeah,
bounces. Yeah, which is what we talked about a couple weeks ago, is arguably what killed Vegas's chance to continue on.
yeah,
Um, and that happens. That's the sport. But I don't know.
yeah.
I feel like that series isn't fully as. I do agree though. I feel like that series isn't fully as indicative of the ability of the Hurricanes, but
Right.
it was a great battle. It really
It was.
was.
They pulled it. I think they pulled it together a lot in those last couple games. They did start the series down
Yeah.
by two, I believe, before they got a win in. Um, so, and then every night was almost an elimination night for them after a certain point.
Yeah, and
Um,
then they started ripping off wins, and I was like, "Oh shit, here we go."
yeah, yeah. I was expecting more of like what we saw um, with Boston and Toronto. I was expecting to see more of that with the Carolina New York matchup,
Right.
to see that back and forth a little bit, but that's okay. Um, but yeah, I think we're in for good hockey either way. If I'm making a guess though as to what we're seeing final,
What's your prediction?
I'm gonna say Edmonton, Florida matchup.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Florida
So
takes it.
okay, so I agree with you on your picks of the final.
Really?
I don't want to make a pick yet
That's
on the
rare.
final there, but the Florida Panthers. All right. So hear me out. And
Okay.
I know a lot of Rangers fans that'll probably get a little pissed off at me for saying this.
Fucking at
I'm
me.
sorry. You can at me and we'll have a conversation. Do you know the one thing that I think is going to be the Achilles heel for the fucking New York Rangers is their inconsistency on defense at times,
Yeah.
which is what's hurt them in the past in the playoffs. Igor Shesterkin is one of the top 5 goaltenders in the league, hands
Hands
down.
down.
No conversation, no debate, nothing. But Igor can only save so many pucks, and when your defense isn't helping you,
Well,
that creates a problem.
and who
I
does Florida have as their
Florida
goalie?
has Sergei Bobrovsky, who is
And if
putting up
Igor is top 5, Bob is top
Bob is
3.
top 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Bob is putting up numbers that he was putting up with the Blue Jacket. Like he's finally coming worth the 10 million a year. Um,
Yeah.
Florida has firepower. Florida has a lot of firepower. So does the Rangers. I'm
Yes.
not gonna say that Kreider had a fucking hat trick in the
Right.
last game.
Right.
Chris Kreider, who's a monster. How
I
many game
think
winners does
these
Panarin have? Like,
Yeah, I think these teams are both evenly matched in violence, however. I think Florida has a bunch of players that are
God, please let me see.
horrifically violent.
Let me see.
And then you have
Let me
Rempe.
see Rempe versus fucking Kachuk. I want the
Oh, we're
match to
100%
fight.
getting a Rempe Kachuk
That's
matchup.
all I want now.
100%. There's no way we
Um,
don't.
no, yeah.
Because even if Rempe doesn't want to go, Kachuk does.
Kachuk wants to
Because
go.
he wants to go with everybody. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the both of them, Matt and Brady.
Yeah.
They're both. It's
Yeah.
violence time. There's nothing peaceful
100%.
happening here today.
So I think like we're gonna see like on one side on the Eastern Conference, it's blood and death and darkness, and then on the Western side, it's like
we're gonna see.
oh push and
We're gonna
shoving.
see technical hockey.
We're gonna see technical hockey.
So hear me out on the Western Conference. I
Yeah,
think Edmonton is the hottest fucking team in the playoffs right now.
yeah,
They are 8-4. That is
yeah.
stupid.
Right. Yeah,
um, Edmonton got hot at the right time, and we talked about them at nausea at the beginning of the year.
correct.
Like we talked about how they started off so slow, but I think by the time the trade deadline got here, they had turned it around and they were
Hmm.
hot. They were getting where they needed to go, and the matchup I wanted to see was Vancouver versus Edmonton because those are the
Yeah.
top 2 teams in the Pacific Division, 2 of the top teams in the Western Conference in general. Um, so I think that matchup really showed the toughness and the resilience
Hmm.
because that series could have been wrapped up pretty fast.
Pretty quick. Yeah,
But they fought back and they fought hard, and I think that's going to say something.
yeah,
But Connor McDavid is really the catalyst to all of it. You have the best player in the world on your team, and he's playing
yes.
the way he's supposed to. Evander Kane is hot right now. That's
That's what I'm
scary.
gonna say is that he has. It seems like his teammates are more connected this year than 3 years ago.
Well, and they have a
Right?
goaltender
With the
to rely on. Stuart Skinner's a
yeah.
great goaltender.
So I think that there some of the missing components have been found
Yeah.
for them.
Oh yeah. I'm also
Not to say
not
that Dallas hasn't found missing components as well,
Jake
because hey,
fucking
they have.
Ottinger. Jake
Yeah,
Ottinger. That's all I need to
right.
say.
Yeah,
Is a savage in the net. And Jason Robertson looks as good as he's been looking the
yeah,
past couple years. Like, by
right.
no means am I saying this is going to be an easy series because the
No.
Dallas Stars are here to play. But if
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a bet, I would say the Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers are that's your Stanley Cup Finals. And if
I agree with that.
I'm gonna hold my prediction for the
Uh-huh.
Cup Finals until the Cup Final,
Okay.
and then we're gonna get
Fair.
after the Cup Finals, we will see Dave back
Yeah.
He's gonna make a prediction. He's gonna give us a little video. He's
We'll
gonna
see.
make a prediction,
Yeah.
and then we will find out after how right he was. Because last year he called the finals to a fucking T, so much
Mm-hmm.
so that we've banned him for being on the show. As-
Yeah,
Not
as a
really,
live.
but yeah, we were pretty.
We
We
banned him
were
as a
like,
live guest.
yeah, we did. We banned him as a live guest. Dave is
Yeah.
welcome on in any other aspect, just not as a live guest.
Not
But
for the purposes of guessing shit. Any other
yeah,
aspect, yeah, fine,
I
whatever.
was so irritated. I was like, bruh.
I was so mad.
We love Dave
It was
though.
just heated.
Dave is, but
Yeah.
that's the thing is Dave could look at stats and just be like, "No, this is where this shit's gonna go," and then like he
Right.
was talking about like jet lag and like weather, how that would affect, and I'm like, no, but then it literally happened. I was like,
Literally happened.
"Are you psychic?"
Fucking
Like,
play by play.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's upsetting.
It
Calls
was
the
terrible.
exact games.
Yeah.
Now that's why we're gonna have him do it after so we can see how right he
Mhm.
was when it happened.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Otherwise it's just offensive.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I have heard, and I sent this to you. I heard PK
Yes.
Subban um talk about a very interesting
Stubborn.
idea. Um, when it comes to the playoffs, he had
Mhm.
he had an idea of reseeding each round.
Yeah.
And it would go based on performance of teams, which I think is a very interesting way to do it. I don't hate the idea.
So yeah, it seemed like, and forgive me, PK, but that video was a little hard for me to follow. I watched it like several times to fully get to
Same.
it. But it seemed like what he was saying is that to make sure that there's better parity in the league so that we don't see first round sweeps like we recently just saw. Um, and so that we ensure that um, each team has either an advantage by playing stronger, better, faster, harder, or that they at least we're getting more even matchups, that they create parity. And in my interpretation, he also was saying that that means it's more entertaining for people to watch,
Hmm.
because then you really are seeing the best of the best play each other. I understand where his idea is coming from. I don't know if I buy it though. I really don't, because I think for one, you have a hard time with what are the metrics to determine that,
Right. Yeah,
right?
you'd have to figure out what would essentially you would categorize or all that stuff.
Right. Like, how are you qualifying? Are you taking into account any injuries that happen? Are you taking into account four calls from the official? Because whether we like it or not, sometimes officials do have sway in a game. They are not the reason why any one game is won or lost, no matter what fans really like to say. Although I don't know sometimes, but they have sway,
I don't know,
right?
man. I've seen some pretty bad calls.
I've seen some pretty bad calls this year. Um, Are they taking into account strength of schedule preceding? So, like, you're coming in round one, you just got off of playing the hardest teams in your conference, you're tired, you're dogged, and now you got to play best of seven. Like, what are the statistics for that? I think that that's really hard to account for. You know what I mean? And that's a really hard algorithmic thing to
Right.
create. Um, and then, secondly, what is my thing would be then what's the point of having it from two different conferences? Because if we're going to talk about the best playing the best, is an East playing a West team the best of the best? Or is it the best of the East playing the best of the West?
Right. So that actually leads us perfectly into our question of the week, which is obviously we have this current playoff format.
Hmm.
What are some ideas that we could put forward or we could put forth to possibly make the playoffs more entertaining? And I want to start this by saying by no means are we saying the playoffs are boring. If anything,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
the playoff format's amazing how it is, and we get
Right.
amazing hockey. But if there was a way to make it more entertaining and a little more fair, what could we do?
Hmm. So I will steal one thing that I think I heard in PK's. Again, PK's video wasn't fully fleshed out, or at least it was very short. So there might
Yeah.
have been more to it that wasn't released. But it did sound like at one point they were saying that they think that the wild card should play each other first and have like a buy-in. That way, the top teams get a bye. Like
Yeah.
they get to have time to recuperate, and the wild card teams have to battle it out with each other for the final one or two slots. If you're going to go, still keep it an East versus West kind of a mentality,
Yeah.
which I actually like. I think that not having, because right now we have what, four wild card teams,
Mhm.
and you're playing, a much greater skilled team. I think for the sake of parity, having the wild card teams play each other. Clearly, they're the bottom of their grouping. I
Mhm.
think that makes more sense. Um, And I am partial to the idea of doing away with East versus West. And I've said that before because I do think that to an extent, you're not going to get the best of hockey.
Mhm.
So there are some divisions that are weaker than others, right? When you're talking about the Pacific and the Central and the Atlantic and the Metro, like
Right.
now, do I think that that means that there's a world where it's only Metro teams versus Metro teams or Atlantic teams versus Atlantic teams? Yeah,
That happened.
but I
That could
think
happen.
that could happen, but anything could happen. So I think
Mhm.
that if we are going to do, which this could be fun, I think if we do wild cards, play each other, come up with the top two teams or whatever for the wild card spots, and then that gives the other players a little bit of chance to rest and recuperate, which is unfair to the wild card teams, but I do think like that's what you get for being at the bottom of the barrel. Sorry, like
Yeah, yeah,
there's your
kind of,
adversity. And then we reshuffle it, and it is the top whatever teams based on ranking and overall points, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
And we go from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kinda what they did with the 3 division thing or whatever that they did when
Hmm.
COVID happened.
Yeah,
You had the Canadian teams were all
but
separate
changing
and
it all.
stuff.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, that could work. I also like the idea of, like you said, removing the East versus West and making it a random draw on who you get to play. Like
yeah,
how they do with the draft lottery.
right.
Um,
Well, we
except
just know that then people will be shouting collusion and cheating and all
well,
that
here's
because it depends on
here's
who you have run it.
yeah, here's a thought too. If you win the President's Trophy, you get to
Hmm.
select your first round opponent, but they cannot be a wild card team.
So that's kind of like the gold rule for the PWHL, right?
Yes. I like that idea. If you win the
Yeah,
President's Trophy, you should be able to get that. But
to
I
pick from the top
say
six teams,
remove
let's
the
say.
wild card teams. Yes,
Yeah,
because that's an unfair advantage.
correct.
Um,
Just beat up on the little guy.
and I like the idea of making it random each round
Yeah,
because then it keeps it because you don't know who you're gonna play.
right.
So you think about let's say the Winnipeg Colorado series. Colorado wins in 5. All right. You'd think, all right, well maybe we go play Dallas. No. Next round Colorado has to go play Boston
Yeah,
and it's a random draw. Um
that could be fun.
and I think removing the conference aspect, not only removing like the divisional aspect, the conference
Hmm.
aspect, if you're in the top 16 in the league rankings, you make the
Right.
playoff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying remove conference play in general,
Right. Right.
but make it overall I feel like you'd have to make it count for something conference wise.
Hmm.
Like straight up top 8. That's it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well. Yeah.
kind of similar to what we do now,
Hmm.
except maybe you add 2 wild card teams, give the number 1 team a bye, and like you said,
Yeah.
let them do a play-in game for that final wild card spot, kind of like what the MLB does.
Right.
The
Right.
MLB has a play-in game
Hmm.
for wild cards to make to go to the playoffs. I feel like that could work, but yeah, a random draw,
That could be interesting.
that would be
I
pretty wild.
The only problem is that I don't see the NHL ever doing that because getting rid of the divisional stuff gets rid of the history behind the divisional
The
trophies.
rivalries, yeah.
And I don't think that they want to do that, even though it can still be like, you know, uh, you can still have those trophies and they can still mean something, but
Yeah.
I don't think they will just because of the way it's set up. But I think that as fun as NHL playoff hockey is for me, and it is fun, um, I do think it's lacking something a lot of the time.
Mm, yeah.
And I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily an entertainment value.
No,
Um,
'cause the games are perfect. The games are amazing. Like entertainment value is already
yeah,
through the roof just with gameplay.
right. But so often there are. I mean, I don't think it's unless it's your team doing it. It's not really fun to watch a blowout, even if
No, it's
it's all losses by one. It's really not that fun to see someone roll over and die.
honestly, I'm gonna be
Like,
real. I don't really enjoy watching my team blow people out.
yeah,
Mainly because we just don't do it. We're the ones
fucking
getting
fair.
blown out. But still,
Yeah,
like I even I enjoy a close game. If Anaheim's winning
yeah.
like 6-1, I'm like, this game's boring. Like, give me some
Which
goals.
I don't mind. I don't mind those games in the regular season, right? In the regular season, give
Yeah.
me a 6-1 game.
Yeah, I want to
Fine.
win 12
In
to
the playoffs,
nothing.
I don't
Like
want to see
just
that.
no. No.
In the playoffs, I don't want to see even if it's 4 games of a 1-0 score. I don't want
Yeah.
to see that either because that means that the other
That's a
team just
goaltender
didn't.
battle.
That's a goaltender battle. Yeah, the other team just didn't have puck luck, or um,
You have the two top
there
fucking
was
goalies going at it, you know.
yeah, and that's just not as
Give
fun
one
for
up.
me. I think all hockey fans can say that they love watching goals happen.
Mhm.
Low scoring contests aren't the best. Tight scoring contests are. But I want to see, I get one, you get one. I get up 2, you come back 3. You know what I mean? That's what I want to
Yeah.
see.
Well, it's like
And so I do
baseball
think that we
fans.
need to do something to make that a little bit more prevalent.
Right. Well, that's similar to baseball fans. Like no one like the casual baseball fan doesn't want to watch a 7-inning pitching battle where it's
Yeah.
nothing and the pitchers are on another level and they're just going
Yeah.
down. It's kind of the same. Like the casual hockey fan isn't going to care about a nothing game to the third
No.
period. Like for me, the die hard, like I love that shit. I love a good goalie
Right.
battle. I love a good defensive battle. But I also love when it's 7-4 or like 7-6 or like 8 to
Yeah.
6 or like just high
Right.
scoring game because
Or
that
even if it's
I
four
mean,
to three, I love that.
yeah. Oh yeah. Um, I mean, also
Yeah.
introducing the jailbreak rule that the PWHL uses in the playoffs,
I think in the
specifically in the
playoffs
playoffs,
only. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
That would change so
Mm-hmm.
much because
Oh
you
yeah.
would very quickly stop seeing people dump the puck into their zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would stop seeing icing almost immediately.
Entirely. Yeah.
Like immediately that would change because you'd be like,
Yeah.
wait, we have a chance on and then you would see people's penalty kill units basically become power play units,
Yep.
and that would be
Yeah.
crazy. Like you're pulling your fucking goalie and like just being like
Right.
insane to like just add that extra. But yeah, introducing the jailbreak rule because we've talked about the jailbreak
Yeah.
a lot and how we love that. Like I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
NHL's missing that, so
For hockey
that would be cool.
specifically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a good because it wouldn't. I don't think it would work in lacrosse. Uh,
No, I was thinking about that this weekend as I was watching our championship games go on, that I don't think it would work.
no,
Um,
because lacrosse is too high scoring of a game,
exactly. That's 100% why.
and people
But
score
hockey
shorthanded
just
all the
isn't.
time. Yeah,
Oh my god,
hockey
yeah.
it's a lot more rare to watch,
Mhm.
um, or a lot
A
rarer,
shorthanded
I
goal?
guess. Yeah, to see a
Yeah,
shorthanded goal. So I feel like that would be a cool incentive to add.
agreed.
How about we add the 3-on-3 overtime?
Oh
Like
no.
I love the 3-on-3
I
overtime.
I
I
don't.
really do. I think it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
This is where you and I differ. I don't like 3-on-3 overtime.
That's fair.
Yeah,
It's one of those either you love it or you hate it type.
I think so. I think 3-on-3 is one of the most divisive. um, overtime topics that there is.
Or we just have
But
the
I
game
get it.
settled with goalie fights.
Dude, that'd be fun.
I'm in for that.
That'd
I'm
be
in for
dope. Or you could just go with youth rules where you get 2 overtime periods, and as long as it's not the final game, if you don't figure it out in 2 overtime periods, it's a coin flip to see who progresses.
that. Yeah. Do like they do in
Let's do that.
soccer, aggregated goals.
Yeah,
Play 2 games, aggregated goals.
yeah,
Like if you scored 6 goals in one game
that'd
and
be
2 in the
insane.
other,
Right,
you could
right.
and you get beat up, you could still somehow
Yeah.
make it in. I don't know. I feel like
No,
it's
I
fun
think
to
yeah,
think
I think
about.
that there has to be something else that some other element that they add to the playoffs.
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
think
they
it has to
already
be,
add
but
I think that I think that we're in a place where it does. I think the NHL needs to innovate a little bit,
okay.
especially with what the PWHL has done. I
Yeah,
think
they've
that
come
if
out
we want to
killing it.
draw more people into the sport, you have to innovate just a little bit.
That's
I'm
fair.
not saying rewrite the rule book at all, though I do think you need to rewrite how DUPS implements the rule book, but that's a different debate
Yeah,
for a different day.
I feel like we need to like
We can do a
not
solo episode
pretend
on that.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. But I do think that like you need to come up with some new stuff. And whether that is new stuff in terms of um, maybe it's not as tight of a turnaround between round one and round two.
Right.
Because let's face it, like round one or round two just ended and we start round three, what, like tomorrow?
I think so.
Like that's quick. Maybe we give the fellas a little breaky break, a little
I mean,
rest and relaxation. Just an extra day, maybe two.
yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of things, is that going to harm a whole lot? No, because then there is a level of unfairness there too with teams that sweep their opponents, right?
Yeah.
A 4-1 team then is just fucking sitting back doing goddamn nothing
Well,
while the
and
rest of the teams
sometimes
battle for
a
you know
long layoff
7
can
games.
hurt a team though. Like in some
Yes,
it can have
I
the
can.
opposite effect. And I think it works differently in this round because all
Yeah,
games went to 6 or 7. So
right.
everyone's kind of the same rest
The
period.
same.
But I can see what you're saying with that. Like,
But
yeah,
maybe that's what they do is that they make sure that everyone has the same amount of rest periods. So
right.
as best that they can within, a day or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I
maybe
think
that's
that's
what they
fair.
do.
I think that's fair. Um, let us know in the comments if you guys have any ideas. Uh,
Yeah.
this is a pretty out there idea, but I mean, what do you think could spice up the playoffs a little bit?
Mhm.
Um, do we want to settle games with each team's best fighter and stick them in a cage for 3 rounds and let them beat the shit out of each
Absolutely.
other?
They do the chess
Um,
boxing.
oh my god, that would be crazy.
NHL players doing chess boxing. Actually, a lot of NHL players do like Scrabble
Probably,
and
yeah.
like those kinds of like crossword puzzles apparently. Crossword puzzles are very popular in the NHL, which I did not know.
Crossword puzzles are fun.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Um, yeah. I think what do you have next? Injuries? We don't have any. We don't have any suspensions or fines, do
We have
we?
no fines and no suspensions.
What a
So let's
weird
keep that up.
day. um, yeah, I don't think the injuries. We don't really have much. Um,
No?
let's
Considering we're down to 4
see.
teams, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean nothing new for Dallas.
Mhm.
Nothing new for the Oilers. Nothing new for the Rangers. Uh, nothing new. Oh no, Brock Besser is day to day with blood clots.
Okay.
This came out
Ooh.
on the 19th.
Yowza, I didn't see that.
Um, that's
Wow,
holy
that
shit.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he is okay. Though that is
Yeah.
scary.
Right.
Uh, and there's nothing new for Florida. So
Okay.
yeah, there's your injury report. Nothing to
Love
report.
it. The injury report is very little. Next week it'll
Yes.
be even littler.
Yes. As we round out, hold on, I need to make sure I have it ready. As we round out the
Oh yeah.
show, it is time for everyone's favorite way to end the show, the obscure NHL player of the week. Um,
Love it.
this week we have a player by the name of Ronnie Sundin.
Okay.
Ronnie Carl Sundin. He was
Carl.
born in Sweden in 1970. My man has like the most.
Yeah.
He was the left-handed defenseman, I should say, handed defenseman.
Oh,
Was drafted 237th overall in the 1996 NHL draft by the
nice.
New York Rangers. In international play, he played Team Sweden in the 1996 World Championships, 97 World Championships with silver medal, 02, 03, 04, 05, and 06 World Championships, gold, 2 silvers, and a bronze, and the 2006 Winter Olympics where Sweden won gold medal against Canada.
Hmm.
Canada? It was, no, it was Finland. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He accomplished all of that, but you want to know the one fun fact about my man Ronnie? He
What?
played a whole one game in the
A singular game.
singular game.
Wow.
For the Rangers in 97-98, nothing to count. He did spend 67 games in the AHL that year. Pack. 3 goals, 19 assists, 59 um 59 penalty minutes.
Wow.
The year that the Wolfpack won the championship? No, they did not win that.
Okay.
But he spent his the entirety of his career in the Swedish Elite League, the SEL. 705 career games in the Swedish
Wow.
league. 61 goals, 143 assists.
Damn.
204 career points in the regular season, 555 penalty minutes,
Damn.
114 in the playoffs games that he played, 15 goals, 25 assists, 100 penalty minutes. He
Wow.
holds the I'm gonna try to pronounce this and probably ruin it. The Frölunda HC club record for most games played at 891.
They're gonna beat our asses with that pronunciation. It was so terrible.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to any of our Swedish listeners. I'm a big fan of pretty much all of your hockey. It said he retired after the 08-09 season, and there's really nothing on him after that. But shout out to Ronnie Sundin, who played one game in the NHL, which is
There you go.
more than I've ever done. So good for you, Ronnie. Also,
Yeah.
shout out to
Shout
him
out.
spending time in Connecticut with the Hartford Wolfpack. My man. You'd think
I'd say that's why you picked him, but I'm the one that gave
yeah,
you the year. So
another week in a
yeah,
row that you chose. But
I
you know
chose.
what's funny? There are 2 minor league hockey teams in Connecticut, and I've never been to see either one. One of
That's
them is in a
crazy.
city where I'm 100% going to get either shot or stabbed. And the other is
Well,
obviously the Hartford Wolfpack. And yeah, I've never seen them play.
I don't think we have one where I live. Or if we do, it's like
I
I
also
don't think
live
we
like
do.
an hour away from the city that the Wolfpack. I live an hour from Hartford, and new people like we explained last week in New England. Distance is a weird thing to New Englanders.
Yeah,
We will not drive
that's
for
true.
fucking anything.
I did forget that we do actually have a team here. They
Ooh,
are a little like an hour and a half maybe from where I am. Maybe 2 hours. So I guess technically I could go to a game, but I would rather go to Hershey instead
what's he?
because it's just an ECHL team, the Norfolk Admirals.
Oh, the Admirals. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
I knew that. They used to be an
Yeah, I
AHL
forgot about them.
at one point.
Not no more.
No, they got relegated.
Yeah, they're like fucking go back.
Could
down
you
there.
imagine if that was a thing in the NHL? Like how they do in soccer? Teams get
Yeah.
relegated. Like if you finish at the bottom, that would be
That'd be
crazy.
so fucking funny.
That would be
Apparently,
wild.
we actually have a few.
Yeah.
We
There
have the
should be a
Blue Ridge
couple.
Bobcats,
Ooh, I like
a
that name.
professional ice hockey team. And they're a member of the Federal Prospects Hockey League. I've never even heard of the
So it's
FPHL.
probably a minor league, like a junior
Minor
league.
league.
Yeah.
Um,
Or it could be like
there's literally, let's see, independent minor league.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. It's only been around since 2010.
Very interesting.
The Watertown Wolves have the most titles.
That's a great name.
They play in Watertown, New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be up in upstate New York soon, so
Yeah, there you go. Look them up. And then the
Alright.
Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. What a name.
So we have
And
a
they are a member of
minor
the
league baseball
SPHL.
team in Connecticut called the Hartford Yard Goats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Who were they before
Oh
that?
my God, wait.
They were the New Britain Rock
This is so
Cats.
cute.
I would say that is about all we have for you today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already and you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know your predictions for this next round. We want to hear what you guys think, who your Stanley Cup Finals
Yes.
teams are. If you guys are listening to us anywhere, watch anywhere else and watching us, make sure you give us a review. Follow us, whatever you have to do on your other stuff. Follow us in our social media stuff.
Yes.
That is all the links down below. Also, we're in a Discord server. If you guys want to talk hockey with us, we do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that if I get a chance to, I will be streaming some of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Be
We'll
nice.
do a little watch party if my computer will allow it. But
big
if anything you want to add before we wrap this bitch up.
Just how the fuck are we already in conference finals, y'all? That happened so quick.
That's so strange.
That's so wild.
Well, anyways, I like
That's
to
it.
end this. Peace, love, puss suitor, and until next time, we will see you motherfuckers in the face-off circle.